Hey YouTube, Ken from Think Trade Profit. I wanted to give you an honest review of Fidelity, the broker. Maybe you're considering someone new and you're an investor or a trader or even a day trader. I want to share with you all the good stuff, everything I've learned about their platforms, and I'll tell you all the bad things that I know about too. It'll help you make a more informed decision. It seems like I haven't found many reviews online about Fidelity, and it seems like people haven't considered them for a second look because a lot's changed in the past 6 months. And with the way the markets are, how fast they are, and how important it is to have good executions and have faith in the stability of your broker, I'm going to give you all the information you know to consider Fidelity as another option for you. So let's jump right in. So first, I'll give you a little information about Fidelity. Maybe you're not that familiar with them, and we'll start with their reputation. You can Google it, you can take my word for it, but they are one of the largest brokerage and investment management companies in the world. The most recent peak I had, they were in the top 10. And you can see here the largest brokerage firms in the world. They're in number 5 with assets under management of 3.2 trillion. Okay, so biggest may not be best. I can give you my experience with Fidelity. I've used them for more than 2 years. I just started trading full-time a couple months ago, but I've seen them through all kinds of different market conditions, and I do have a lot of experience in different market conditions. I was a prop trader in the late 90s and the early 2000s. I've traded currencies and futures through the Great Recession, the Grexit, and other volatile times. We've had some of the wildest markets that I can remember. The last couple months, it's not unusual for the markets to be very fast, very volatile, up and down 1, 2, 3% in a day. A lot of news hitting the wire. A lot of things going on that make the markets really, really risky. Some standout issues among major brokerages in the last 6 months. Late January, TD Ameritrade and the Thinkorswim platform had a ton of issues. They're all over YouTube. There are a lot of complaints that after the change to no commissions, the execution quality and the reporting back of times and sales and the tape and the fills for Ameritrade customers was horrible. Likewise, early March, when the market really started to melt down, we saw problems with the Robinhood trading platform. There were investors and traders there that couldn't get out of their positions for days. The platform was completely down. Even when they thought they had it up and running, it would crash at the open, and they were stuck. And there were people that lost a ton of money, and there was really nothing they could do about it. So I can tell you through experience that Fidelity doesn't have these problems. The platform is stable. The last time I can remember a problem with the platform where it scared me to trade was probably last June. There was something with, there was a little bit of delay in times and sales versus the level 2 quotes, and it was resolved before the end of the day. But when that kind of thing happens, it spooks me a little bit, and I'll just withdraw from the market. Other than that, I did see a delay where I wasn't getting times and sales for about less than a minute. It was about a month ago during some of the oil news and the oil trade war stuff. But other than that, the platform's been up. I've been able to execute pre-market, post-market, at the open, very fast-moving markets with no problems at all. The tape is good. The executions are good. I have a lot of experience with this, and I can tell you that I'm not getting any slippage on market orders. I get fills. The platform's fast. It's stable. It's up and running, and we don't see some of these problems that these other brokers have had. So let's talk about customer service. There's nothing more discouraging when you need help with something that can't be done online, can't be done through an email, and you want to pick up the phone and get someone to help you out with your account or the platform or what have you. And this is where Fidelity shines, and I think you'll find that if you do your own research and you look online, their customer service is excellent. I can always get someone on the phone if I need to, even if it's just a question or help with a trade execution. I've had some trade errors before where I put in the wrong order type, and as long as I had both sides of the trade covered, they would fix it. So I had maybe a short sell that was really meant to be a sell, and I had a buy previously. They would flatten it out for me. It was no problem to get get someone on the phone and get these kind of things taken care of. I've also found bugs or defects, and while they didn't resolve them immediately, they knew exactly what I was talking about. The people, it's not some call center. These people are really educated. They definitely know everything about the securities industry. They can answer the questions intelligently. I know I used to work for a large brokerage here in the Southeast, so I could throw some complicated questions at them, and they knew exactly what I was talking about. So it's a real joy. Likewise, their computer systems, I've never in a situation where I get on the phone with them and I ask them a question and they're like, oh, well, let me pull up my computer system and it's slow. I get that a lot at banks and other kind of phone services, but not at Fidelity. They're in my account. They're looking at things. They already know. They already see the problem and they're already acting on it. So the customer service is excellent. Getting someone on the phone is no problem. Likewise, I've never had a problem with email replies or anything like that. So it gives me a lot of confidence that if there ever were some kind of disaster and I need to get out of a trade or something, and all my other options were I didn't have any other options, then I could go and get someone on the telephone. So let's talk about their platforms. They do have a mobile app, they do have a web platform, and then they have their kind of premier platform, ActiveTrader Pro. So this is the splash page when you log in to the web platform. There's a lot to do here. This is a kind of a new homepage they have, so you can jump right to the things that you want to do, but you can take a look at your accounts. The company deals in mutual funds, in stocks, in options, IRAs, 401ks. They now run HSAs too, which is very rare, so you can have your health savings account here too. But so much information. So while you've got the mobile and the web options, the real gem of Fidelity is ActiveTrader Pro. It's not web-based. It's a Windows or Mac application that you actually download. And you can see it on my screen here on the right-hand side. And the thing that's changed in the last 6 months with most of the major brokers going to zero commissions, ActiveTrader Pro, when I got access to it, it requires you to have at least 36 commission trades within a year. So I essentially paid at least $180 of commission just to have access to this. It was more for active traders and that kind of thing. Now anybody has access to it. You can go to the website and get it without any restrictions. It's a download. It hooks up to your accounts, and you have access to it. So it really is an advanced platform. It shouldn't discourage you if you're new to the markets. It's great to get in there and play around with it and become familiar with all the tools. There's a wealth of indicators and research, order types, and just ways to really finesse your investments or your trades and protect yourself. I'll show a couple of those just so people have an idea, because Fidelity really is worth a second look considering the changes that have happened since last October. Let's take a look at just some of the things that are wrapped into ActiveTrader Pro. This is just a limited view. This is kind of the charts that I use for Facebook. But you can have multiple tabs on this chart. So you could have different time frames. There's, I think, more than 70 built-in indicators. So you can add whatever you want to the charts, pretty much everything and anything you wanted to do. There's some different patterns and events, supports and resistance and stops that you can play with the settings here. There's events on the charts like splits, dividends, earnings, tax loss, that's for you. But there's just a wealth of customization here that you can do. Again, this updates in real time. It's the Windows application. We're actually past extended hours now, so you're not really seeing much hit the tape over here. This is the level 2 quote for Facebook. You can manipulate and change all of these windows and shove them all around. There's a ton of different ways to configure your layout, whatever's most important to you. And you can link screens together so that when you change the quote, the information changes respectively. This is a little cleaner layout of ActiveTrader Pro. There's a lot going on, but I just wanted to show you the options for different kinds of order types. This one over on the far right is a directed order type. if you really want to get fancy, you can route them to specific ECNs, set certain conditions, and that kind of thing. I just used a lot of limit orders and market orders, and I do the automatic. I don't specify the routing. There is another way. There's something they have called Trade Armor. It's not really suited for super fast short-term trading, but it is good for investing. It has a lot of different conditional order types, so you can put in a say a bracket order to trigger either your profit target or your stop loss. And you can put in a buy order, and then that'll trigger the stop loss or the profit target. So it's basically a set and forget. You could trigger this market order and say, hey, I want to execute if it gets here or if it gets here, and you can slide these cool things around too. I don't really use it during a really fast market because there's a lot of conditional stuff, but if you just want to invest in something and set it and let it take care of itself, this is a good way to do it. And these are adjustable over time, and it'll adjust the open orders. So it's pretty cool. The most important thing that I wanted to talk about so that people will consider taking a second look at Fidelity is executions and cost. So when I talk about executions, this is really a little bit more important to people who are trading intraday or in fast markets where there's news and that kind of thing. And I know people have even tried to do this in Robinhood, which I can't imagine because there is a delay in those fills. I had a Robinhood account just to take a look at it when they were new, and it doesn't stand up to what Fidelity can offer you or one of the other major platforms when they're stable. There's just no reason to use something like Robinhood, which is essentially a toy at this point, considering the issues they had in March. When you have zero commission brokers, all the major brokers went to zero commissions last October, Fidelity included, and that was really a game changer. It's the first time in probably 20 years where accessibility to the markets and costs have favored the little guy, the small investor. It wasn't that long ago that we were paying commissions of $4.95 a side. So if I buy, I pay $4.95. If I sell, I pay $4.95. It's really hard to trade over the super short term like that because 10 or 20 executions in a day, it adds up to $50, $100, and that comes straight out of your pocket. I was trading with that kind of hindrance in the past 2 years, and being mildly profitable and under those conditions. When Fidelity joined the other two major brokerages, E-Trade, Ameritrade, Schwab then went. So I'm sorry, there were three, and then Fidelity was last. When they went zero commission, I knew it was a big deal, and kind of keeping up with the platform and trading as much as I could. I noticed that the executions, they didn't worsen in any way whatsoever. I'm going to go into that a little bit more. But zero commission trades is just such a big deal for the small investor. So if you're just getting started in the markets and that kind of thing, be grateful it wasn't always this inexpensive to enter the markets. So with that, the executions in Fidelity are excellent. They are one of the few brokers that do not get paid for order flow. So getting paid for order flow has been around for 20, 30 years probably. It goes back to the old days when the markets had spreads and there were market makers. There's an advantage to having a lot of people send you their orders so that you can execute off of them and make a market. And a lot of brokers do get paid for their order flow. E-Trade. I am pretty sure Schwab does. Ameritrade does. Even some of the kind of professional day trade brokers like Lightspeed Trading, they sell their order flow. So most of the major brokerages do sell their order flow. They get compensation by taking the orders that you and I put in, and they route them out to a different company who will execute them, but they do get a peek at them, so there are advantages. And we're talking about fractions of a penny and that kind of thing. There shouldn't be something so terrible that your executions are really poor, otherwise you shouldn't use that broker. But they do take little pieces out, and Fidelity doesn't do this. They do not get compensated for order flow in stock transactions. And it's on their site, and they report it to FINRA. And the cool thing about this is if you trade with Fidelity for some time, you can actually see your price improvement. So I'll show you that here from one of my accounts. If you go in there, here's the year to date. Forget about the top part because there's no commissions. I did paste that. You can see some commissions from last year. But year to date, I have 575 orders, and the price improvement, the value to me is about $3,000. It's not something noticeable that comes in on every trade but you can see here some of my most recent transactions. These are from yesterday. It's a lot of Facebook trading, but I was trading about 400 shares of Facebook, and I would get price improvements here. So what's happening is when you submit the order and it's executed, they look at the national best bid and offer, the marketplace, and if they get you a price a little bit better, and it's fractions of a penny in most cases, but that's what they record and share with you. So you can see that yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were 8 executions that had price improvements. Some of them were small, $1, $3, $17, $10. Again, these positions are like 400 plus shares at $207 a share. So it's an $80,000 position. It's a really small, piece of the big picture, but still, other brokers don't do this for you. They actually sell your order flow, and it could be that these little fractions go to somebody else. So it makes me feel good that Fidelity's out there fighting for the best execution. If you do the research and you Google them, they have this commitment to execution quality. They do report to FINRA. So yeah, if you go to commitment to execution quality from the main menu after you log in, you can see it here. We're the only firm to voluntarily report full price improvement savings using the FAF standards. And here's how it works. This is a big deal. It makes it a fair marketplace for the little guy. And then they compare themselves to Ameritrade, Schwab, and E-Trade. So they share this with you. They're the real deal. So when I talk about costs, all their other costs, they've got 0 commissions. You get price improvements sometimes. They don't sell your order flow. And I can tell you that the executions are amazing. The market's closed right now, but I do have some tape from the other day, and I'll share that with you. And it shows you just how fast the executions are in a market. I can tell you I've traded, like I said, the open very fast. I've never had slippage. I get fills. It's not even a second. When I get filled, I'm reported on the fill. This is some tape, some recordings I did from the other day just to kind of show the speed of executions. It's about 10 o'clock in the morning, so a little bit after the open. And I think I'm looking to put a limit order out there. And I'll just show you how fast the fills are. So I put a sell short, 420 shares at 203.64. You can see the price is 203.55. So just in real time, to see how fast this gets hit and how fast I know I'm filled. And again, this is 30 minutes after the market's open on Facebook, which is a really fast stock. So I think this dips down. It takes a second. The order's still open. And this is where it picks up. I was hoping to get a fill. I was trying to get short. So there's 58 cents, 55 cents. Struggling still a little bit to get up there, but then it pops back up. So there's 64. And there I get filled. And now it's a little bit higher. And I actually used a bracket order there, so it was to protect myself on a stop loss in case it went against me, because the market was really fast. You can see how much it essentially broke out from there. And I got covered at 203.88, and now the market's even higher than that. And you saw how fast that was. So it's a super fast platform. I have no issues with it as far as slippage or anything like that. Market orders are amazing. You can scalp in and out with market orders. You can use stop limits to protect yourself. Again, they're fighting for good execution for you. So with that, what are some of the downsides to Fidelity? One of the things that I don't like, and if you're an active trader or an intraday trader, is they do not have a VWAP, volume weighted average price, built into the indicators. VWAP's been around for a long time, 20 years or more, and basically it's a volume weighted average price, and it's a way for institutions, when they're working orders for each other, the big brokerage houses and that kind of thing, when they're selling millions of shares throughout the day, they try to beat the volume weighted average price, based on what's traded out there. If you're buying stock throughout the day and you get a price that's a little bit below the volume weighted average price from whoever's working your order, then that's a good deal. And if you're selling it, if you get a price that's a little bit above or higher, then that's a good deal too. And unfortunately, they don't have that built in the platform. And I've been on some of the threads and the forums and that kind of thing, and everyone's asking for them to add this because Thinkorswim has it and some of the other platforms has it. So that was one thing. If you're a very active trader and you're looking to use VWAP, you're going to have to use something else. So what I do to solve the VWAP problem and lack of that is I use TradingView. It's free. You can save a chart, and I plot the VWAP on here. VWAP is indicated on the Fidelity platform, but there's no charting indicator for it. So I'll show you what I mean there in a second. But I just use this and say a little small window off to the side, depending on how my layout's organized, and I can keep an eye on VWAP. Are we above? Are we below? Are we punching through? That kind of thing. It's inconvenient, but it's a minor consolation. Let me show you where Fidelity displays the VWAP in the watch lists. So again, this is the recording from the other day. It's a little bit earlier in the day, actually. This is the beginning. But here's, I have this core watch list of stocks that I like to keep an eye on. And here's Facebook, the change, the last traded price, and they have a VWAP here. So this is dynamic, and this will change throughout the day, but it's not as easy to follow as, say, a charted price, because that's what we really look for as traders. The other thing I don't like about the platform, while there are a lot of different ways to enter order types, I don't think it was designed as a day trading platform for super fast executions. That being said, it's a lot of point and click, but I heard Thinkorswim is the same way, that they don't have hotkeys. So there are no hotkeys in the sense that you could have a one key press where it will sell at the market your configured 100 shares. There's close. There's some kind of quick keys where it'll pull up the order form, but you may still have to toggle a thing or two. So there's no hotkeys to make really super fast executions. That's the other downside, and I think that's something that some people might be disappointed in. It took me playing around with the platform for a while to figure out the fastest way to do it. And what I do is I pull up the abbreviated order window with no preview after I set the settings. I just want it to send it off, and I have a couple of those open. So I'll open two, and I'll use one for my main entry and the second one for my exit. So I may have a limit order on the first, I'll send that off, and I'll open one up right after that as a market order for my cover. So it's a little bit clicky. I know that Lightspeed Trading has hotkeys, and you can set up a lot of configuration there. There is a lot of configuration for share size and stocks and conditional orders and that kind of thing, but it's not on the keys. You're still going to have to click a button or two. So that's the other thing that might be discouraging to some. You can definitely work around it, and I'm very fast. I can execute very fast using the order windows that I like to use. So it's really not an issue. Most of my trades are a minute, 2 minutes or less, and the executions are flawless. So I just wanted to be fair and say those are the two things: no VWAP and no hotkeys. I did try to use Auto Hotkey. It's a program for Windows applications to try to kind of get around this. It just didn't feel very good, even with the native Active Trader Pro platform. There was still this weird delay, and I went back to just doing it the point and click way. But you can definitely, just like any video game, you can get really fast, and you can get the executions that you need. But that pretty much sums it up. I wanted to kind of share my experience and my feelings with it. I think it's a very good platform. And considering the costs and considering some of the other more professional platforms, Lightspeed is one. Warrior Trading tends to use that platform. There's a lot of fees associated with that. They have multiple cents per share and different things tied to order routing that you pay for. You also pay for the time sensitive, the level 2 feed. At Fidelity, you don't pay for any of that. With them going zero commission, the only costs I have it depends on how big my trades are, but are the FINRA fees that you pay for any trades, and it's like 0.3 of a penny a share or something like that. Really, Fidelity is a great option. I just wanted to put a review out there and share my experience with the executions and the speed. There are a few little drawbacks, but the stability of the platform, considering the things that Robinhood and Ameritrade have gone through since the beginning of the year, it's a standout. They do a really good job for the costs. I hope it was helpful. There isn't that much out there on YouTube about Fidelity, and it seems like people haven't considered it in kind of the more recent intraday trading craze. But it's been really good to me, and I'm going to continue to use it. I think it's very cost effective. The executions are great. The platform is stable, and the customer service is great too. So give them a look. You can use them in fast markets, and they are very, very reliable. I am not compensated by Fidelity in any way. They don't know I'm doing this review. I'm not paid or endorsed, and they are not sponsoring this video. I just thought I wanted to put this out there because there was so little about Fidelity online. So that's it. I hope this is helpful. Don't forget to hit the like button below and subscribe. Subscribe. I could really use your support to make more videos like this. So good luck out there. I hope you make a bunch of profits.